When will flights resume? Here's what we know so far. As countries lift lockdowns around the world, planes are returning to the skies. Here's the latest on when flights will resume near you. If you've heard the rumble of a jet passing overhead in recent weeks, you may well have wondered. Over the past month or so, severely reduced flight services have been running worldwide, largely to carry essential workers, repatriate stranded citizens, and allow people to visit vulnerable relatives. Now, however, with countries gradually lifting lockdown restrictions the world over and non-essential travel hopefully becoming more than just something you regularly dream about, major airlines are aiming to ramp up their services in time for the peak holiday season, in July and August. Soon after the announcement of the nationwide lockdown by Prime Minister on March 24, domestic flight operations were suspended. International flights to and from the country were banned, even before the lockdown to contain the spread of COVID-19 was announced. Some flights were later operated by the government in early May, under its repatriate mission, to repatriate Indians stranded overseas in light of the COVID-19 pandemic. Gradually, as the country started easing out of the lockdown in a phased manner, the government announced a staggered resumption of domestic flights. Operations began on May 25, and contours of the new, fare structure for flights from May 25 onward were laid down by Union Civil Aviation Minister, Hardeep Singh Puri. At the time, he had said that a small percentage of the total number of domestic flights will be operated at first, only to be increased later depending on initial experience. However, international flights continue to remain suspended up until now. Earlier this month, the aviation minister had said that a decision regarding resumption of international travel can be taken in the coming months, even earlier, when domestic air traffic would reach 50 to 55% of its pre-COVID-19 capacity, and other states would be in the position to absorb more number of passengers coming in. At a media briefing on June 20, Puri reiterated his point that when domestic flights scale up to 55%, international flights will be reopened in some form or the other. He mentioned that domestic operations are currently running on 1/3 of the summer schedule. While noting that by mid-July, the fourth phase of the repatriate mission repatriation exercise will be on, Puri has also hinted that, while the mission itself would have scaled up further in its fourth phase, international operations will also begin. The Aviation Ministry is also considering the prospect of establishing individual bilateral bubbles with countries. This came after the U.S. leveled allegations against the Indian government of engaging in unfair and discriminatory practices on charter, air transportation services to and from India and issued an order requiring Indian air carriers to apply for authorization prior to conducting charter flights. Following this, the ministry said, as we move from controlled and managed aviation evacuation of our citizens in different parts of the world and foreign nationals from India, we are now looking at the possibility of establishing bilateral arrangements. These evacuation flights, which were primarily meant for the evacuation of our citizens from all over the world, are now increasingly carrying Indians and citizens of other countries outbound to countries where they are normally resident. It did not, however, respond directly to allegations of the U.S. Transportation Department